Welcome back to the North Shore Station. This is Season 2, Episode 2. We are 1 week away from the start of the 2021 NFL season. Thursday Night Football is going to kick it off with the Buccaneers and Cowboys. I'm Lucas Durazio. I'm joined by Dom Farrow and Camden Euler here in the basement of College Hall on the campus of Duquesne University. And my palms are itching. I am ready for some NFL football. We're going to get into maybe some MVP talk. We're going to talk about the NFC least, our favorite division in football. And we're going to get this thing rolling, and we're going to kick the season off right. This is the North Shore Station. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the North Shore Station. This episode is being recorded on September 6th, Monday, and we are 3 days away from Thursday Night Football kicking off the 2021 NFL season. Buccaneers, Cowboys. I don't know if it's going to be the greatest first game of all time, but I think it's going to be a good one, and I'm excited for it. And I'm just excited for NFL football. I think the preseason and then having that week off, that really, really teased me.
And especially with college football happening these last couple days, it's just the perfect teaser for professional football. I'm absolutely pumped. I can't wait. There's some amazing games on the schedule this week.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first game, Buccaneers, Cowboys. And the only reason I say it might not be the best first game of all time is because, you know, the Buccaneers right now are kind of the picturesque, perfect franchise. They have the GOAT Tom Brady. They have all 22 returning starters. They've got a good coach. They seem to have everything ready for another playoff run, and the Cowboys are in that NFC least that we always talk about. Dak's returning. We don't know how well he's going to be when he comes back. I mean, I have high hopes for him. I think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think he can light it up. And I think they've got a lot of weapons on offense where it could be a really good year for them. But it's just very uncertain because, you know, you look at what that defense did last year, not much. You look at what the offense did without Dak Prescott, not much. You look at Zeke Elliott, worst year of his career probably. He's looking for a big bounce back year. So that's the only reason I'm a little bit wary of this Thursday night game. I really don't want it to be a 35-0 halftime score or something like that. But I still have high hopes.
I just hope it's a decent game. I think the Cowboys will be able to keep it. If you're watching on video right now, you saw what happened there. My microphone just collapsed on me.
While Dom figures the stand out over there, Camden, what do you think? I mean, obviously, you don't have any great thoughts about the Cowboys? They're your division rival.
Nobody should.
Football team. Yeah, not a lot of people do usually have great standing in their mind for the Cowboys. But what do you think about this Week 1 game? First game, kick off the season, Thursday night. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's always good to kick it off with, you know, a decent matchup. Like, if this was, like, Texans-Jaguars or something, I'd be like, well, this is kind of like a dud to start. So I think it's a decent enough to where it's like, the anticipation's there, like, oh, I can't wait for Thursday. This might be a good game. Do I think it'll be close? No. I think the Bucs they're gonna come out and take advantage of the Cowboys early. But no, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be a good start to this NFL season.
Yeah, and I mean Tom Brady entering another year where he's coming off of another ring, and yet he still has something to prove almost because. You know, we talked about the NFL Top 100 last week. He was number 7 on the Top 100. And while physically, obviously, he's not a top guy in the league right now, but somehow he just keeps finding a way to win. And personally, I kind of feel like you had to give him number 1.
And it doesn't make much sense, honestly. There's no reason a 44-year-old man should be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
No.
As a 44-year-old. I like I was saying before my microphone collapsed on me, I think that this game is going to be somewhat close to the end. I could see it being a 2-score game at the end, but this line here at -7.5 for the Buccaneers, that's pretty interesting. Most of the money here is going towards the Buccaneers. That's just a guess, but I'd assume I'm right there. but 7.5 points. Would I go with the Cowboys here? Probably not. I think the Buccaneers are going to win here by about 12 points. But it could be 12 most of the game, but in that last minute, the Cowboys score a garbage time touchdown. That's what Dak is the king of. So I could see them bring it in, only losing by 7 points, covering the spread there. So if I were to bet on this one, I'd probably go Cowboys just because I don't think the Buccaneers they never really blew out that many teams last year. It seemed like they were always pretty close. And against really good teams, I think 90% of the time it was a pretty close game. So I'd go with the Cowboys here plus 7.5.
The other thing about the Buccaneers is, I mean, you look at them in the beginning of the season last year. I mean, they were good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like they were world beaters. Like everyone was just kind of like, oh yeah, the Buccaneers will be good, and I think they'll have a chance. But they got to get some things right. I think that Tom Brady, being a veteran, Bruce Arians being a veteran coach in this league, obviously they have a lot of veteran guys. They realize that, yeah, obviously it would be great to come out and just dominate a team week one, but it's a long season. I don't think they're going to put all that much stress on coming out and winning this game. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong, they're going to put everything they have into winning this game, but I don't think it's going to be that crazy, huge, big of a deal for them where if they lose, they're like, oh my God, our season's over. We're not the same team we were last year. They got a lot of veteran guys who have the right mindset, who are going to realize, yeah, it's week one, but there's 16 more games, and then there's 4 more games in the playoff, depending if they get a bye or not. I think they're going to realize, hey, maybe we got to knock some rust off. Maybe we got to get some things right. So it'll be interesting for them.
Well,
I think, sorry to interrupt, Camden. I think all teams are going to be a little bit rusty going into it. You saw it a little bit in college football this week. Not too many super high-scoring games. The Notre Dame, Florida State.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really good game. Camden, go Irish.
Always. It was,
close
typical Notre Dame fashion to,
But,
almost blow it in a big game. But
that's beside my point. That was like the only game that I think was like a high-scoring game that was a big ranked game there. So besides that one though, most of the games I'd expect went under. So for this game, the total is going to be 52 points. I'm just going to go under because I do agree with you, Lucas. I think that these teams will both be shaking off the rust a little bit. Dak with the injury still recovering from it. I mean, Tom Brady, he needs to get back into it, I feel like, a little bit. Because I'd be interested, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, that early in the season last year, the Buccaneers, yeah, they're good, but none of us were expecting them to win the Super Bowl last year.
well, I think that's what I was going to say was, last year, like that whole team at the beginning of the season was basically new. Like everybody was new to playing each other. So they had to figure it out there in the first couple weeks where, I wouldn't say they were struggling, but they weren't dominating like they did towards the end of the season. So now I think you're getting that team, fully, everybody back. Now they're all on the same page. They already all know how to play together. I think it's going to be a very dangerous season for them getting to start with that chemistry from week one.
All right, so Cowboys plus 7.5, Buccaneers minus 7.5. If you guys had to take one, who are you taking here?
I'd probably take the Bucs. I think they come out. Smack Dallas in the mouth.
I think that the Cowboys are probably going to cover. I'm not going to lie. I think I'd take the Cowboys. I mean, I'll say it one more time. The slow start for the Buccaneers. They started 7-5 last year, and I knew it wasn't a great record, but I couldn't remember what it was. They went on to not lose a single game throughout the Super Bowl, but they started 7-5, and I do think that is one big reason. Camden. They were all new quarterback, new system, new everything, new jerseys even. You got to break those in sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I think that the fact that they're going to have a lot of continuity, literally everyone on the field is going to be, continuity from last year. But I do think they're going to take some time to knock the rust off. I also think one thing that's interesting is that week off from the preseason because, you kind of take a week off and things get a little interesting. You're not ready. You're not suited up for the game. Maybe there's a little more nerves going into it now. You haven't dressed in 2 weeks. You haven't put on you haven't done your game day ritual and things. And not that, the starters like Tom Brady and them do all that much in the preseason, but still, it's something you're missing. So I think it'll be interesting. I think the Cowboys will cover, though. I think Dak is going to have a pretty big game, honestly. I think he's going to have to, come out feel like he needs to do something and feel like he needs to get back into his comfort zone, I think he's going to do that.
I think Dak will throw for 3+ touchdowns.
I could very well see that.
I don't think that's too much of a crazy prediction. You think that's?
I don't know. I
crazy?
didn't know we were doing a drunk episode. No, he hasn't
on.
thrown since. When was the last time he threw a football in a game?
Last.
No, he didn't. He didn't take preseason
No,
snaps.
not preseason. I'm saying like last.
Yeah, exactly.
When did he get hurt?
It's like riding a bike, though.
Yeah,
You're an
but
NFL quarterback, you can't forget how to be an NFL
Yeah.
quarterback.
yeah, but he's got that front seven of Tampa Bay running at him every play. He's gonna get squashed.
Yeah, maybe 3's a little bit much, especially when you said under on the what was it, 52 and a half?
52. Yep.
Yeah, 52. Maybe 2.
Yeah,
But
that would
I
be
still
a
think
lot.
he'll have a good game. I think they'll keep it close, but and also, I mean, let's not lie. Fans back now. Refs might want to keep it a little close. NFL Network and all that.
No.
Or Goodell's probably going to be in the
Okay.
headset. Let's keep it close here.
All
Maybe
right.
there will be some PI calls to keep the game close.
Let's relax.
So I wouldn't be surprised yet. I think Cowboys are going to cover the spread there.
Okay, so I got Cowboys plus 7.5 and the under 52. Camden's got the Buccaneers minus 7.5, and Lucas has Cowboys plus 7.5. Before we move on to the next game of the week, I'm going to make a graphic each week of the picks that we have. We're going to keep a total of it. We're going to talk about it each week. And at the end of the show, we're going to give you our one lock of the week. Last year we did three picks of the week, our best 3. This year we're just doing 1. And this one will be important because at the end of the year, whoever comes in last place,
Oh Lord.
I don't have anything yet, but there will be something that will happen. There's someone who comes in last place, or someone who wins. Whoever comes in first will get something. Whoever loses has to do something. So we'll see. All right, next game of the week. As Lucas throws his bottle across the table, let's go to the Steelers Bill. Camden, what do you expect from the Steelers this season?
I mean, I think, after what you saw at the end of last year, I think, it's going to be a bounce back no matter what. Like, I don't think it can really get worse than what it was last year. I mean, it
For
can.
the Steelers,
Yeah.
They start off the season 12.
No, I mean the
Could get much worse
the
than
the avalanche of what happened in the
Still in
playoffs.
It
I think, yeah, but
could be worse.
I think it could be, but they would almost have to try to be worse than they were last year in certain aspects.
I just disagree
So,
completely there.
no, but I think they bounce back. They get a tough matchup week 1. So, there's going to be a lot of people who, if Josh Allen comes out and throws 5 touchdowns and the Steelers lose, you're going to see the Steelers haters on Twitter going nuts that, all the Steelers are they're not good anymore and all that kind of stuff. But no, I think this game will be close. I think you'll get to see Najee Harris for the first time, which will really see what the Steelers do with their offense going forward. See if they look to get the run game going more than they did last year. The ball is gonna be flying in this game. The Bills, they never run the ball, and the Steelers, they don't do it unless they have to. So I think you're gonna see a lot of yards.
We got more option now. Najee
I think,
Harris.
yeah.
Last year when we played the Bills, that game would have been a different story if we had an actual running back. If we had a Najee Harris, I think the Steelers would have won that game. I'm really excited about this game. I don't know if the Steelers will win. I'm not 100% sold yet, but I know by Sunday at 1 o'clock I'll be ready. I'll have my terrible towel with me, and I'll be expecting the Steelers to win. So I got to go with the Steelers just to cover the spread. I'm not going to go money line here. I'll just go covering the spread plus 6.5. I think the Steelers defense is one of the best in the league. I think Ben Roethlisberger still got it. I think we have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. And now we got Najee Harris. And that offensive line, there's question marks around it. But I think they're talented enough. We're going to be able to move the ball. And the defense is going to do its thing too. So Steelers to cover the spread here.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, we're podcasting on hard mode here, but the mic's back up. We've already had 2 mic mess ups already. But as I was saying, I think the Steelers are going to have a very interesting season this year because of Ben's farewell tour. It's not set in stone that this is his last year, but it's pretty much set in stone that it's his last year. They're making the stencil to set it in stone, maybe. I'll say that.
That right now.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to come out firing, like you said, Camden. They're going to come out and throw the ball. I still think, even though Najee Harris is definitely going to help their run game, I still think Ben is either going to win or lose them games like he did at the end of the year last year. And, it's kind of going to ride a lot on what he can do. I do think, like you said, they have one of the best receiver cores in the league. They don't have any one guy who was in that top 100, but still, I think the top 3 or 4 of their guys were definitely right on the edge of that. They definitely have very talented receivers. Eric Ebron's another very talented guy at the tight end position. But the one return in this game to full health isn't even going to be on the field. It's Bills Mafia coming back. You mentioned it. It's in Buffalo, full stadium, full capacity. It's going to be loud. It's going to be, it's going to be rowdy. Not that Najee Harris, the rookie, isn't used to that. I mean, SEC guy definitely.
They never shut anything down.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. They never shut anything in the South down for COVID. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game. Plus 6.5 for the Steelers is an interesting line. Bills, I don't know. I'm gonna have to take the Bills in this one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take them minus 6.5.
That's a tricky line there.
Yeah, that one's pretty tough. But I'll take the Bills. I love Josh Allen. I love Stephon Diggs, and one of the reasons is because he's on my fantasy team. So gotta go Diggs in that manner. And I just think they're a good team. So I'm gonna take the Bills because I think they can make a run. I actually saw some ESPN put out something today. They simulated the entire season and the Bills won the Super Bowl. So, and I don't know if they did it on Madden or what they did there, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Madden might be the worst video game franchise of all time. I'm fully convinced of it now. But I don't know what they simulated on, but yeah, the Bills won the Super Bowl, so I think that's not that far off.
Before we get to Camden's pick, did either of you guys get the new Madden?
I did not.
I haven't
Nope.
bought Madden since like Madden 12, actually.
That's
Since
good.
Peyton Hillis was on the cover. I've gotten Maddens, but I have not bought one.
Purchase them?
No.
I'm not
Nah.
giving them money.
Yeah, I shied away
I've
from
been
it this year.
gifted Madden, but no, I wouldn't buy that.
Madden is a joke. All right, Camden, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think I'm gonna have to agree with Lucas. I think the Steelers are good, but I think the Bills are better. I think, and then in Buffalo, I think the Bills come out firing. I think Bills take it.
What I'm more 100%, this might be my lock of the week. I'm not sure yet, so it might be a sneak peek for the end. But it's the Steelers, Bills, under 48. I don't think either team scores over 27 points. I think maybe one team will score 27 points, the other one will have about 20, 21 points. So I think under 48 is pretty easy for this one. So I'm going to go under 48 plus 6.5 Steelers. You heard Lucas and Camden's pick. Let's move on to the next game. Carolina Panthers, Jets. We don't need to talk about this one really. This will be interesting to watch. I'm interested to see what Zach Wilson can do. I'm interested to see Sam Darnold going against his former team. That's another interesting storyline about this. But other than that, I'll just go Panthers here.
Yeah, what's the line at?
-5.
-5 for the Panthers. Yeah,
I'm not even gonna mess with the spread on this one.
Yeah, the spread's interesting because it really hinges on Zach Wilson. And I mean,
You have no clue.
he looked pretty good in the preseason, and there's some high praise for him coming out of that. That like he's got a very high ceiling. I think Tony Romo said that. There's a lot of guys with high praise for him.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Who else looked really good in the preseason was Deshaun Kaiser, and for the Browns, like I did not think we were gonna go 0-16 that year because I said, Deshaun Kaiser, maybe he'll win a game for us. He won the starting spot. So there's a lot of guys that look good in the preseason and then you never hear about them again. So, don't put too much weight on that. But, I think the Panthers are going to have a pretty good season this year. I think Sam Darnold is, in a spot that is definitely his best spot that he's been in his career, but that's not saying much because he was with the Jets for the other years of his career.
He's got weapons.
That's right. He's got
Moore,
weapons.
Robbie Anderson, McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are very good as long as they can stay healthy. That's kind of the one question mark about McCaffrey because he played, 3 games last season. So I think the Panthers are going to have a good year, and I'll take them with the spread -5, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Panthers -5 over the Jets.
I'm just taking Panthers just straight up. I'm not even going to mess with that spread thing.
Yeah,
What
money
you
line
think?
for sure take Panthers.
It's tough. I think I'm not high on Zach Wilson, but I'm not high on the Panthers defense either. So I don't know. I think this one's gonna be close. It's a very anticlimactic game. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the Panthers,
Okay.
just straight up.
Next game is the Jaguars and Texans. Another one that's not super interesting, but Trevor Lawrence. Fun stat here: each of the last 4 number 1 overall picks tied an NFL game before winning one. I think that Trevor Lawrence will break this streak, and I think the Jaguars will win this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better Week 1 matchup for your rookie quarterback and your
Horrible team.
brand new NFL head coach in Urban Meyer than the Texans. I mean, their franchise in shambles right now. Deshaun Watson's not playing in this game, right?
Nope.
Because they already
Tyrod
named
Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is
Whew.
QB1. You really can't ask for a better situation for the Jaguars to start it off, and I think you're right. I think they're going to break that streak, and not that I'm super high on Trevor Lawrence right now. It's not like I'm saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to be the MVP in 2 or 3 years. I think he's pretty good, but I mean he doesn't have much around him. So, but I still think this is the best situation for him. So I think they're going to win.
If you had to send one quarterback out, it's Week 1 of the year. You got Tyrod Taylor and Trevor Lawrence. Who are you sending out there? Just Week 1.
I don't know.
'Cause I think Tyrod Taylor is. I'd go with Tyrod Taylor just because he's a veteran. He was never a horrible quarterback. He can get it done. Week 1, just see what he can do. I'd go Tyrod Taylor. So that makes this interesting. The spread here is 3 points.
I think the last 2 Week 1s that Tyrod Taylor has started, one was for maybe it was 3 years ago, but whatever. When he started for the Browns Week 1, he tied with the Steelers.
Yep.
So that was all right. And then last year he started for the Chargers, and they played against the Bengals, and I think they won, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot he was on the Chargers last year.
Yeah, that's right. And then he got stabbed in the lung, and
Yeah.
Justin Herbert comes
Wow,
in.
I
And
forgot about that too.
Week 3, just like Baker Mayfield did, Week 3 comes in and breaks Baker Mayfield's rookie touchdown record. But yeah, so I mean, I like Tyrod Taylor a lot as a player and as a person. He just seems like a good leader and a good veteran quarterback. I might take him Week 1 over Trevor Lawrence if I had to
Just
pick one to
hypothetical.
lead my team in Week 1. But like I said, I mean, for the Jaguars playing a team like this, you really can't ask for a better situation for Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer.
That's why I'll take Jaguars cover 3-point spread here.
Yeah, Texans are going 0-17.
They might actually. Like,
I'm
I feel
going
like no one
Jaguars.
on that team cares if they win.
I mean, why would you? I mean,
'Cause,
I mean, name 5 players on that defense.
very
Defense, well, that's a tough
very
one.
tough.
Like,
Really,
I don't-
Say Mark Ingram now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you
That's
go.
all right.
I mean, you're asking Trevor Lawrence, Tyrod Taylor. I mean, does it matter? If it doesn't matter, throw me out there. It's gonna be about the same scenario.
Yeah. All right, Lucas. You said Jaguars. You think they'll cover 3-point spread?
Yeah, I will also say they'll cover. I said money line they'd win, but yeah, I'll take the cover as well. I'll take the spread.
All right. Next game here. Let's go on to the Browns and the Chiefs. This game will be very interesting. I think it'll be the game of the week. The spread here is Kansas City by 6 points. I think this one's fairly easy. I think the Browns cover this one. I think the Browns cover this one pretty easily. I think they might actually win this game. I'd be tempted to take money line, but Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in September. I mean, those guys. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has ever lost a game in September.
Not that I can recall.
That's a guess, but I don't think he's ever lost in September. We need a stat check on that later. Maybe I'll come back and edit that. But yeah, I'll take Browns to cover. I don't think they'll win, but 6 points, I like that. I like that for the Browns.
I think that one thing about this game is when you lose to a team to end your season, and then you have all off season to look at that score and look at that film and prepare for them, especially when they're your Week 1 game. Like I remember me and my dad were talking about this last year for Ohio State. They lost to Clemson when they had Justin Fields. Or no, excuse me. Yeah, the first year they had Justin Fields. Then they come back. They play him again in the college football playoff. This is their team. They're going to be hyped up. They've seen all this film all off season. There's going to be a lot of hype going into it, a lot of extra chip on your shoulder. That helped out Ohio State, and then they ended up winning. This is a little different. Kansas City, they're obviously one of the best teams in the league every year now. They have one of the best quarterbacks maybe ever physically. And the Browns still have some stuff to figure out, and one thing they need to figure out is their defense, because not that they don't have pieces, but it's all brand new basically. John Johnson, Troy Hill, Grant Delpit didn't play last year. New linebackers.
Clowney.
Yeah, Clowney's now in there along with what's his name? 97. I forget he was on the Eagles. Whatever. Another D tackle. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah coming in now. Your guy, Camden,
Absolutely.
another fighting Irishman. But there's a lot of uncertainties on that defense, not because they'll be bad, but just because they haven't played together. Greedy Williams also another guy. He's supposed to play week 1, and I don't remember ever seeing him on the field last year, to be honest, just because he's always hurt. Jacob Phillips, another guy. He's hurt. He's going to be out this year because he tore his bicep. So there's some question marks on the Browns' defense. And like I said, not because they don't have the talent, but because they haven't been together yet. Like you said, for the Buccaneers, Camden, last year was basically a brand new team. They never played together. So it's on the defensive side for the Browns, it's kind of a question mark. And this is not really the team you want to have question marks on your defense against, Kansas City, who really hasn't figured out again. So that is a tricky spread. It's a tricky game to bet on.
You're taking.
But I'll take the Chiefs to cover because I
Really?
always have to bet against
You're
the
right,
Browns.
you're right,
That's
yeah.
the only way they win is I bet against the Browns every week.
My issue with the Browns isn't their question marks on defense, because I do think the talent will go above all those question marks. The issue here is they have an amazing roster and a good quarterback.
Thank you.
Not an
Thank
excellent
you.
quarterback, but I'm not saying he's bad.
He's an average quarterback.
I'd say slightly above average quarterback, and that's where things could get a little interesting towards the middle of the season. They're like, what's going on? Why are we first in division?
Point at that guy.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hyman, what do you
We'll
think?
see. Once the middle of the season gets here,
All right,
yeah,
we'll come back
yeah,
to this.
sure. We'll see.
We'll come back.
Camden, I know. I'm sure you have something to say about that. You've been a 6-hater right now. I think.
Oh my gosh. No. No, I take the Browns to cover. I think it's the same thing we talked about with the Patriots. The Chiefs, it's been how many months since they've played. They got to shake it off. Mahomes isn't going to be throwing no-look bombs to Tyreek Hill on the first play of the season. They're going to have to get back into the swing of things. And I think, there's new guys on the Browns, but they're all guys who have proven themselves. Like the thing with the Bucs, you had some rookies there back in the secondary. You had some younger guys, some guys who hadn't proven themselves yet. But the Browns, like John Johnson's proven he's an elite safety. They got Clowney's, even though his NFL career hasn't panned out to exactly what everybody thought it would, he has talent. He's going to get to the quarterback at least once or twice a game. So I think the Browns are good enough to, and it's like you said, they got the chip on the shoulder. They lost to him last year in the playoffs. It's a little revenge thing. I don't think they win, but I think they keep it. I think they keep it competitive.
Okay. Moving on to the next game here, Titans versus Cardinals. This one should be a really interesting game. I'm excited to watch this one. The Titans here are favored by 3 points. This one could go either way for me. I think Derrick Henry is, I'd consider him one of the best players in the league, if not the best, one of the most talented, physically gifted. And I think he's going to be felt this season again. I think he'll rush for over 2,000 yards. And now that Tannehill has A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, it's gonna add another layer to this offense. It's gonna make them really hard to stop. The Cardinals, on the other hand, they boosted up their defense a little bit with J.J. Watt. I don't think that's super significant here. Their offense is pretty good. Kyler Murray, he could always be considered an MVP caliber player. Not last year, but I think people would say he's up there for
sure.
predictions. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got James Conner now, but he's probably not going to be their number one guy. I think this one's pretty easy here. Titans covering the spread -3.
Yeah, I would probably say the same thing. That offense is just so, it's going to be so dominant. Tannehill's playing. He's off COVID IL. Thank gosh, because I got him on fantasy. But no, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I think the Titans take it. I think the Cardinals, they're going to have to figure out, what they want to do with that run game with the new options. And they're going to have to experiment, and week one's a decent place to do that. And the receiving core, other than Hopkins, you got AJ Green. Kirk's pretty good, but I think the offense has its, they're going to need to figure it out there. But I think the defense stays solid. I just don't think it's enough to beat Tennessee in week 1. So I'm going Tennessee.
Kyler Murray, by the way, is tied for 5th in the MVP betting odds. He's at plus 1,400. He's tied with Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, which I think is
Those are good.
yeah. I think it's also interesting that Matt Stafford is right behind him.
I like that.
8th,
I like that.
but he's at plus 1,600.
I like those odds.
But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting game. Titans, they're always going to get it going, and the one thing is, if Tannehill doesn't have his connection right away with Julio Jones, they still have AJ Brown, and then old reliable, they always have Derrick Henry, who's, like I keep saying, he's a man amongst boys. It's pretty easy to turn around and hand it off to him when things get tough either way, and you're going to get some good stuff out of that. So I like the Titans in this game a lot. I also like the Cardinals this year because I think Kyler Murray, it just keeps getting better and better, and I think he's poised for a pretty big season. Not that AJ Green is in the prime of his career, but I still think that's going to help out the receiving core a lot with him and D Hop, and Larry Fitzgerald's still there, obviously, and he's always a reliable target. And I like Christian Kirk out of the slot. I think he's a speedy little guy who can make some big plays, and he's proven to do that. So I like the Cardinals' offense a lot this year. I think it'll be interesting, their defense with J.J. Watt and all the other pieces there. Chandler Jones, who actually requested a trade at one point this offseason after they got J.J. Watt. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what the dynamic there is. But I still think their defense can be really good, especially if Chandler Jones, does what he can do and is, fully in it for this team. And hopefully for them and for Cardinals fans, he's not too affected by that. But yeah, money line, I'd take the Titans in this one.
Okay. You aren't going to go with the 3 points, though.
The 3 points, is it 3.5 or just 3? See, that's interesting because
Go for the push there.
yeah, that's I'll take the Titans in that too.
All right,
I'll take the Titans.
unanimously taking the Titans spread here. 2 more quick games before we move on to the NFC least watch. The Patriots versus the Dolphins, Tua versus Mac, the 2 former Alabama quarterbacks going up against each other. The Patriots, surprisingly, favored here by 3 points. Another game that could go either way. The over-under here is set at 43.5, which is, I think, suspiciously low. So I'm not even going to mess with the spread here. I'm just going to go over 43.5 points. I think Mac and Tua will be able to put points on the board and a whole lot of them.
I don't know. First NFL game for a quarterback against the defense of the Dolphins.
But Bill Belichick cut Cam Newton.
Which I think was smart because that's how I look at young quarterbacks. Is I'll use the example of if your dad's teaching you how to ride a bike, like me standing there and watching him ride the bike, I'm not learning anything from that. Just getting on the bike and going is in my opinion the best way to go about it. So I think exactly. Just chuck them in there, throw them in there and see how they do. They'll learn from their mistakes. So I like them going to Mac right away. I think obviously Cam Newton's not a long-term answer, and just getting Mac the experience right away is what every team should do when they get a young quarterback. So do I think they beat the Dolphins though? No. I think the Dolphins, they want to prove a lot of people wrong that we are an elite team, and even though I feel like they're kind of in the same boat with the Browns. They got good pieces, but is the quarterback really enough to make them elite? But I think it's enough to beat the Patriots week 1 in Mac's first game.
So you're gonna take Miami money line, or you're gonna take those points, those 3 points?
I'll take the 3 points.
Okay. Dolphins plus 3.
I think I'll actually take the same because as much as I'm very weary of Tua Tagovailoa as
Tua turn the ball over?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. As Camden likes to call him, Tua turn the ball over. I don't know if I'm completely sold on him, to be honest. I don't know if he's gonna make it in the end. I don't know if he's gonna be an elite quarterback guy like Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are in my mind. So
I could see him being like a Fitzpatrick.
yeah, I could see him being
good enough where he'll win a few games, but I don't know if he'll ever be good enough to win a Super Bowl, take a team deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, but I think the Dolphins have a lot going for them this year, though, and I think Mac Jones in his very first start, You know, there's still going to be some nerves. You got to knock off some rust and things like that. So I'll take the Dolphins as well, +3. And I'll go money line, but I will take the 3 points as well.
Okay, so you got money
And
line
obviously-
and +3.
Yeah.
2 different ones. Let's-
I mean, if they win, they're going to be +.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 2 separate bets.
Okay. But if they win, they're going to cover both.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't
That's
I don't-
correct. That's correct.
But yes, I'll take Miami.
To win it. Okay, moving on to the last one before NFC Least Watch. The Saints versus the Packers. This one should be pretty good. Jameis Winston starting for the first time as a Saint. The Packers coming back with one of the best offenses in the league. Aaron Rodgers coming off an MVP season. The Packers are only favored here by 4, and I think that one's a trick for me because they know how much I like Jameis and they know how bad I want to get the spread with Jameis, but that's just 2 little points for Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams for that offense not to
Robert Tanya.
whoop up on the Saints. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think they'll win by 2 scores.
Yeah, I see a 10-point victory for Green Bay, and I'm looking at the over/under 50, and a lock of the week might be the over on that. Because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out and
Sling.
he's going to sling it. He's going to ball out. He's going to say, this is basically not only his last ride with Green Bay, but also his audition tape to everyone else in the league, saying, hey, I still got it. Like, I can lead any team just like Tom Brady can, and I can win games. So I would take the over 50, and I will take also because I like Jameis Winston in that Saints offense. So I think that they're going to put up points too. And I think the over 50 is going to be pretty easy with the way that Green Bay is going to put up points and the way that Jameis is going to come out and throw it around as well. Especially with Alvin Kamara in the backfield. Another reason that I like Jameis Winston for the Saints is that now they still have Taysom Hill as an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Whether it's running the ball, receiving the ball, wherever it is. So that's just another weapon for Jameis Winston to throw to and hand it off to and stuff. So I like the Saints offense to put up points, but I think Green Bay will win, and I would take the spread on that as well. So
Sorry about that, folks. We were just having technical difficulties all over the place. Camden, what are you going to do here?
I think I'm going with the Packers to win. Not big here, but I think they win in a good many points. The offense is electric, and there's a lot of question marks on the Saints defense. They've lost a lot of guys there. I don't know if they're really as good as they can't as I don't know if they're good enough to stop Green Bay's offense week 1. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he's got everything going on with him. He's got his little Green Bay farewell tour, so I think he comes out week 1 and is just proves himself, I guess.
What they're going to be missing.
Yeah, and no home field advantage for the Saints, so
It's true.
I'll give it to Green Bay.
Okay, so me and Camden take Green Bay. Lucas takes the over here. All right, let's move into the NFC Least Watch. Let's run through this quick, and then let's do our locks of the week, and then we'll let you guys carry on with your day. All right, the NFC Least Watch, here we go. We already talked about the Cowboys-Buccaneers. We all took the Buccaneers in that one for the NFL kickoff. Next up will be Eagles playing in Atlanta. The Falcons are favored here by 3.5 points.
I think that's low. I mean, maybe I'm just an
Falcons
Eagles
are not
hater.
good either, though.
Yeah,
They're
true.
both bad teams. I probably won't tune in for like 3 minutes of this. If it comes across on the Red Zone channel, then I'll check it out. But I'm gonna go with Falcons here because I'm an Eagles hater. I'm assuming Camden, you're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, probably. I think, so many. I think, we keep talking about question marks. I think the Eagles by far have the most question
Their team
marks,
is
and
just
the entire team is I don't even know if they know what they're doing at this point. So, but again, Atlanta's, they're kind of in that same spot. So, this is like you said, it's not a very intriguing matchup, but it is Kyle Pitts' debut. Maybe a bounce back of Matt Ryan. So
No Julio.
no Julio. Falcons fans will be
This is gonna be bad.
very
Let's talk
upset.
about
Yeah,
this.
I don't even know what to. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons just because I think they're not as bad as the Eagles are. I'll take the under on that one, 48 though.
Every single year, there's a week one game where I look at the score and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, nice. And then usually it's an NFC team that I don't follow a lot, and then 5 weeks down the road they'll not have any other wins. They'll be 1-4 or something like that. And I think this might be the one for the Eagles.
Oh man.
I think that obviously this year I'm going to follow the Eagles a lot more because of the NFC East watch, and gotta keep my finger on the pulse, so to speak. But yeah, I feel like this might be the game for the Eagles. I'll ride with my roommate Zach Stur, big Birds fan, so I feel like we're going to be watching this. Get a little fired up for Jalen Hurts. And like you said, there's some question marks on the Falcons team as well without Julio Jones now. Obviously, they still have Calvin Ridley, who's an amazing weapon. Kyle Pitts is going to be very interesting and very exciting to see, I think. But I'll take the Eagles in this one, and I feel like the Falcons also are going to find a way to blow it, where they have a chance to win it and then they won't. I'll take the Eagles to cover for sure. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but I think they'll cover, and I hope for them they win.
I like that prediction. That seems like it'll be spot on. Chargers, Washington football team in Washington. Washington is the underdog here by only a point, so it's pretty much a pick of here. I think Justin Herbert is also going to be an MVP contender this year. And I think he's going to start off the season pretty hot. I think he's going to put a lot of numbers on the board. I'm going to take the Chargers here just to cover that spread. And then I'm also going to take the over. I'm not even sure what the over is, but that's how
44.5.
44.5. Yeah, I'm going to take the over easily on that.
I don't know.
That Washington football team defense
A lot of Washington games this year, I would definitely take the under, but I think the first couple you might be able to get away with the over because we're beating a dead horse here, but there's guys that got to fill in. Will Jackson's got to find his role. We just got to kind of find out where we're putting each corner because we got to find where Dunbar's playing. We cut a lot of guys at that position, so our linebackers. We're looking to try to do something there, as I think we only have 4 on the entire roster. So, but I think Washington takes this one. I think the front seven's enough to keep Austin Eckler from getting much of anything, and then making Herbert throw the ball. Keenan Allen, kind of all he has. So I think Washington takes that one. Non-biased, but.
Dom, you mentioned Justin Herbert in the MVP race. He's 10th in the odds at plus 1,800.
I like that. You can see a Lamar second season MVP type thing.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson is 9th, so just right in front of him, by the way.
Lamar winning that.
but an interesting line, like you said, basically a pick 'em. I think there's so much hype around the Chargers this year because of Justin Herbert, and rightfully so. I think, like you said, he could be in that MVP talk at the end of the year. But I don't think there's enough hype around Washington because they're in the NFC least. They still don't have a name. The helmets are boring. I think the only hype around them, like I said last week, kind of is about their name and about Chase Young. And obviously Chase Young deserves all the hype he can get. He's a stud. But this offense, I'm really excited to see. I love Antonio Gibson. I love Terry McLaurin. I love Curtis Samuel. 2 Ohio State guys there that Fitzmagic, another guy that I really like, is throwing to. So I think it'll be interesting, but I kind of can't stay away from Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I think I might have to take them in this one money line. You might as well take the money line because what's the difference in the spread? But, yeah, I'll take the Chargers in this one just because I think Justin Herbert is going to come out and make another big second-year leap. Everyone kind of, he put the league on notice in his rookie year, and I think he's going to continue to do that in his second year. So I'll take the Chargers.
Last NFC least watch before Week 1 kicks off. Broncos at Giants, plus 2.5. Underdog for the Giants. I'm going to take the Broncos here. I trust in Teddy Bridgewater. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to have a huge step up this season. Noah Fant, I think he's also going to have a step up his game a little bit. Their defense, a little shaky, but they got some pieces there that can have them compete with the Giants. I'm going to go Broncos for this one.
The one part of the Broncos offense that I really like is not only Jerry Jeudy in that wide receiver core, but Cortland Sutton. I think he's a very underrated guy. I think he makes some really hard catches and makes some really big plays for them. And like you said, I trust in Teddy Bridgewater. I'll take the money line for the Broncos +2. I think they beat the Giants, and I don't think the Giants keep it that close. So I guess I'll take the money line and the spread. Same difference. But yeah, when it's 2.5, whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, I'll take the Broncos spread and money line. Camden.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the crowd here. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Gotta let Saquon Barkley shake the rust off. That offense has gotta figure out, how they're gonna play with the new receivers and stuff. So I'm going with the Broncos on that one.
Good stuff. All right, it is time for the locks of the week. One pick each. Let's see who will come out 1-0 for week 1 of the NFL. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to go back to Green Bay and New Orleans. Like I said, Jameis Crablegs Winston, famous Jameis. I love him back there. I think he's going to look good in black and gold. I think he's going to look good in that offense. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to keep slinging it like he does. I think Devontae Adams is, again, going to have a big year. Aaron Jones, big year. Robert Tonyan, big year. I just think the whole Green Bay offense is going to have a huge year.
Great.
And I think that 50 over-under, I think the over is a lock because I think that Green Bay is going to put up points like they always do. And I think Jameis is probably going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think
so, too.
a lot of people have as much trust in Jameis as I do. So I'm going to take the
I'm
over
with you.
50 as a lock.
I
I
ride
know
with
you do.
Jameis.
I know
That's
you
my
love
guy.
that pick.
Camden, what is your lock of the week?
I'm going back to Philadelphia, Atlanta, under 48. I mean, that game is going to be like watching paint dry. No way they score 48 points. Not a chance. I'll take my 1-0 on that one.
That might be locking. I'm going to take, for my lock of the week, the Vikings -3 over the Bengals. The Bengals have one of the worst defenses in the league. Joe Burrow shaking that rust off. He hasn't played in almost a year. The Vikings offense, on the other hand, Justin Jefferson coming off one of the biggest rookie seasons for a wide receiver in NFL history. Kirk Cousins, he's not excellent, but he's good enough where he's going to be able to beat the Bengals by 4 points at least. Dalvin Cook's going to do his thing. I think this one should be fairly easy, so that's going to be my lock of the week here. And we'll have that all up on our Twitter on a nice graphic, and you can bet along with us, see which ones we lose, see which ones we win. Just scout it out for a little bit, see who's on, who's not, and then come bet with us. Why not? Until then, though, enjoy week 1 of the NFL. It's finally back. This is what we've been waiting for months. Anything else you guys would like to say before we head out?
I'm just ready to get it started. My palms are itching down. I'm ready for the NFC season, man. Or the NFL season. And the NFC least watch. Can't wait.
Camden?
No, I'm in the same boat. I'm ready.
Steelers?
No.
Go Irish.
Yes.
Go football team.
Go
Oh,
Dogs.
yeah.
The Steelers, have a great night, everybody.
What did you just? Alright, let me ask you this. Was Lydium real? Pittsburgh. Where legends are told. Pittsburgh.